Okay, so last session we learned about how do we deal with string methods. So in JavaScript data types, we learned about two important types. One is number, another one string. And how to handle strings, all these basic things we learned. String functions and all. We will use these functions in various examples in future now. Validations, interactions, and everything. Now, after knowing the string functions, now another important in the data type, we have Boolean type. Boolean types. We have another important Boolean type. Generally, what is the purpose of Boolean type? Why we need Boolean types? Actually, Boolean types are used in decision making. Boolean types are used in decision making. So wherever in computer programming decision making is required, there we use Boolean type. So Boolean type in JavaScript can handle two values. So one is true, another one is false. Boolean types can handle two values, that is true and false. And one more point is Boolean conditions in JavaScript. Boolean conditions in JavaScript can use one for true and 0 for false. Can use 1 for true and 0 for false. So that means here true is equal to 1 and false is equal to 0. That means they handle a numeric value. But it is always recommended to use Boolean types with Boolean, that is true or false. But Boolean conditions can be verified with 0 and 1. 0 and 1. For example, suppose here, a simple example here is, suppose we are defining as var stock is equal to true. That is the Boolean type. And we have var name is equal to some name. This is string type. And we are printing document.write. So name is equal to whatever the name is. And in the next line, stock is equal to whatever the stock is. Now, actually, here, it is going to print directly true or false in that. It's going to print true or false. This can be verified by using Boolean. Boolean conditions are verified by using 0 and 1. For example, here I am writing if stock is equal to 1. But actually stock is not a number. Stock is a Boolean. But you are using a number for that condition. And if it is stock is 1, then what we want to do is, so we will declare here var status. Status is an empty variable. And we will put status is equal to available. we will define status available. Otherwise, status is equal to out of stock. So now we want to print that message. And here stock I want to print as status. Status contains the message. And in that case, you see it shows available. So if stock is false, then you can see it returns out of stock. So Boolean values are verified with numeric 1 and 0. So that is okay. It is allowed. But some programming languages don't allow. So strictly Boolean means only the word true and false. So best is to write like this, not to write like this. Because in future, this you will face problem when you are dealing with numbers and booleans. But it will work. That means JavaScript boolean types handle numbers. But don't do that. Always use boolean value. You have, because generally developers have an habit of doing this in JavaScript. Whenever they return true, they will put 1. That's very common actually. But in future, now JavaScript is being ignored for advanced technologies. We are using TypeScript as language, but finally TypeScript also should convert into JavaScript. So JavaScript will never go anywhere. So it will be there forever. But developers will practice different languages to overcome the problems of JavaScript. In that case, so this habit is not good to verify Boolean types with numbers, but it can verify. So that is the reason I told you a few days back, if you remembered. So if anybody asks true plus true is equal to how much, it will be 2. If I say true plus false is equal to how much, this will be 1. Right? That is because they handle directly 1 and 0. But it's not good. Always use Boolean options. This is an example just for making you understand that you can use that 0, 1. But always use Boolean value only. Boolean value is true or false. Sometimes some people confused and they write like this true in the word in quotations. That's not correct. True is a keyword. You should not use like a string. You should not use like a string. So keyword is keyword, directly true. You should not use like a string true. You have to just use it as a keyword true. Configure as a keyword true. So this is the best way. This is the best way. This is another example for that. Directly, this is how you define. So generally, what is the purpose of Boolean types? Boolean types are used in decision making. Decision making means, so we can verify if the condition satisfied, one work, condition not, another work. We will put them in various programs. We will see that. But initially, this is a simple one to understand. How to handle the Boolean types. Boolean types. Next, important in the data types, we have undefined type. Undefined type. In the data types, we have undefined type. So we are discussing about primitive types. In the primitive types, number, string, Boolean, undefined. Undefined is nothing but, so it specifies that value is not supplied into a reference. It specifies that value is not supplied into a reference. Value is not supplied into a reference. That means there is no value stored. There is no value inside any reference. Then it will return undefined. For example, and undefined type is verified by using undefined keyword. Is verified by using undefined keyword. Undefined type is verified by using undefined keyword. That is undefined type. I will show you one simple point. Why we need undefined regularly here? Because some programming languages don't have this undefined. Why JavaScript requires this undefined very regularly? Because generally, one of the problem in JavaScript is JavaScript will not provide any optional references. Optional reference means every reference you mentioned is mandatory. You cannot ignore. But advanced programming languages have optional references. Optional references means you can ignore a specific reference. But in JavaScript, it's not possible. So in JavaScript, every reference is mandatory. Then we will face some problems. So as of now, we haven't learned functions and all. Later we will learn. So technically, suppose, see here, we are writing like name and a price. And for some products, price is not known. For some products, it is known. If price is not known and it will be supplied later, when it is supplied later, then it should use. When not supplied, so then it should not use. Then what happens here is we are writing document.write. I am printing. So name is equal to whatever name. So whatever name is there. And in the next line, price is equal to whatever price is there. But price is not supplied with value. Then it is not error here. It is not error. Other programming languages will show error. They say that there is no value in price. But in JavaScript, if a value is not supplied into any variable, automatically JavaScript compiler, it will put it as undefined. So it will put it as undefined. JavaScript compiler will put it as undefined. Undefined is by default the keyword used there. So you can see now, it will by default keep that as undefined. It's not a error. So undefined indicates that value is not supplied into it. Now, as a developer, we have to handle this. For some products, they define. From some products, they don't define. In that case, how do you verify? We use a condition. If price is equal to undefined. If price is equal to undefined, then don't print price. Document.write. So print only name. That means we will print only name. We don't print price. Else you can print it. That means if price is not defined, don't print it. How do you verify whether value is there in a variable or not? By using a data type called undefined. If any variable is returning undefined, that means there is no value in it. There is no value in it. And you can see that. So it will not print it. That's good. Later, if I supply some price into it, so then it will print it. Then it is going to print it. If value is not supplied into it, if it is not supplied into it, it will identify as undefined and it will not print it. That is good. So because JavaScript every reference is mandatory, and wherever the values are not supplied, it will keep undefined. Compiler will keep undefined. So it is easy for developers to verify whether value is defined or not. Value is defined or not. So undefined indicates that. So it indicates that value is not defined into given reference. So value is not defined into given reference. Into given reference. It indicates that value is not defined into given reference. That's what the first point also. Just I made it little more clear. That means value is not defined into the given reference. So here, this is an example actually. This is an example for how we handle that undefined. How to handle the undefined. Here, one question comes regularly in interviews is, what is difference between undefined and not defined? Are both the words same? That is the question asked. What is difference between undefined and not defined? Because in JavaScript, you will come across with these two words. So what is difference between undefined and not defined? This will come very regularly. So you should not be confused. Actually, undefined means reference is there, but value not defined. Reference is there, but value is not defined. Then it will return undefined. Not defined means reference is not defined. Not defined. Reference not defined. Reference dot defined. That is actually not defined. That means there is no reference, but you are trying to use it. There is no reference, but you are trying to use it. That is actually not defined. So what is difference between undefined and non-defined is simple here. Suppose I am configuring something like var x, so document dot write. So here x is equal to the value of x. In the next line, y is equal to the value of y, like this. Now there is no y at all, and you are trying to use it. Then y is not defined. X is undefined because x is there, but there is no value inside it. Then it is referred as undefined. So that is the difference between undefined and not defined. That means in this you can see there is an error. I will inspect and go to the console. In the console it says that y not defined. Not defined. That means there is no y at all. For example, if you defined y also, var y also, then now both are undefined because both are not supplied with an value. So if reference is not there, then it will return not defined. Reference is there, but value is not there. In that case, it will return undefined. So you have to use undefined to verify whether value supplied or not. So that is the difference. So in this syntax example, this is the example actually. In this example, Here you will get the result like this. X is undefined and Y is not defined. Undefined and not defined. Undefined and not defined. So that is how we can configure the values. Next important is here, that is the very important comparison here. We have another type called null type. We have another type called null type. Now, this is very important point to understand what is undefined and null again. Actually, compiler, what it will do is, at the time of compiling, it will see that there is no value supplied into a variable. If there is no value supplied into a variable, then it will put as undefined into it. It will put as undefined into it. But sometimes we are not expecting value during the compile time. We are expecting the values during the runtime. Runtime means we are expecting from a text box. We are expecting from a prompt. When we are expecting a value during runtime dynamically, and at runtime value is not supplied, then it will not return undefined. Then it will return null. That means null means value not supplied. Undefined also value not supplied. Then what is difference? Difference is null indicates that value is not supplied during runtime. That means compilation finished. User is using it. While using, it is expecting a value and value is not supplied. Then what it will do? It will return null. So what is difference between undefined and null? Both are not supplied with value. But undefined is not supplied with value at compile time. And null is not supplied with value at runtime. So already you saw that actually. Suppose if you remembered, I given you a simple one like where username is equal to prompt and we say enter name. You remembered this. We already discussed. Here prompt is expecting a value. That means username is assigned with prompt, and prompt, now compiler thinks that okay, at compile time the value is not supplied, runtime it is supplied. Then it will not put undefined. It will not put undefined. It is expecting the value at runtime now. Now runtime, they cancelled the prompt. They cancelled the prompt. That means they are not supplying value. Then it will return username will return null. It will return null. So you can test it here. Suppose document.write. So we want to print username. And you see here, so when I run this now, it will prompt enter name. I clicked on cancel. If I click OK, then value is supplied. That value is blank. Blank is also considered as value. If blank is considered as value, then it will be empty. Nothing is there. But if I click cancel, cancel means you are not supplying value, not even a blank value. Then in that case, it will return null. That means the prompt will return null. We learned about confirm box. Confirm box cancel will return false. And prompt cancel will return null. What is difference between those two? Because confirm box is not an input box. It is not taking value. But prompt is an input box. It is expecting value. And if value is not supplied at runtime, then it will not return undefined. It will return null. Remember, in any programming language, you got an error related to null. That means a value is not supplied. Null means value is not supplied. Null means it is expecting value, value is not supplied, but not compile time value. It is runtime value. During the runtime, it is. Even today, several websites show that message. Suppose sometimes you are booking some tickets online, but that is not good to show such message, but still some websites show that. So when you are booking tickets online and it is a very new movie release and it is very busy, server is very busy, and so you have all the tickets filled, only few are available, and you are trying again and again, and suddenly sometimes a pop-up comes, null exception. Null exception means it is finding a value for you and it is not provided. That is not good actually. That means a professional website should not show any errors. If a professional website is showing any errors, then that is bugs, right? A website cannot show any such errors, but some websites show, right? In that case, that means that is not professional. That means they are not professionally designing it. Actually, if it is a service based and it is professionally not showing properly, then you can claim on it. Do you know, you pay so extra 40-50 rupees for an online ticket, 30 rupees 40 rupees extra for online ticket. Do you know what the 30 rupees is extra for? That is for service. And as per government rules, if service based people are collecting service charges from you and they are not providing a prompt service, you can claim on that website. That website will be blocked. You can claim on that. But for 30 rupees, you will not go to court at India level, right? Right? But in foreign countries, so if they have a problem in your site, they will simply report on your site. Next moment, block it. That is the reason as web developer, you can be very carefree in designing websites for Indian clients, but not for foreign clients. For foreign clients, when you are designing a website, so very tough, because so it's at a particular moment, it is not responding and it is user is facing problem, then you have to refund all the money. You have to. That means you provided service and he is not satisfied, you have to refund it. So that cannot happen here. That is the reason. But as a web developer, majority of you people have to work on foreign clients only. Majority in companies, majority of our projects are foreign clients. Then we cannot tolerate with these kind of errors. So 100% they are service based, then they have to provide proper messages. You cannot show null error on screen. You should better say that, so it is busy, please try again later. But our websites, sometimes they show null exceptions. So if you got actually null is actually called as null, it is a exception type. It is an exception type. Exception type. Exception means exception occurs at runtime. Runtime. Null indicates that value is not supplied. value is not supplied during runtime. Null indicates that value is not supplied during runtime. So null is exception type. Exceptions occurs at runtime. So generally in computer programming, we have compile time errors, runtime errors. Compile time errors are related to compiler while translating. Runtime errors are also related to compiler only, but at runtime. Runtime means while using it, not while compiling it. For example, suppose I say means this is not the related example. I am just showing you if var x equal to 10 and var y is equal to 5. So and here so var some z is equal to x slash y. We are dividing. Then the result will be 2. So this division, according to the compiler, it will divide this. This is wrong. Compiler itself says that I can't divide with a string type. Compiler says that I can't divide with a string type. That's okay, good. But if I give 0, then compiler says that okay, because number, compiler says okay, but mathematics says that no. Right? Compiler says that okay, I am satisfied because I am asking only number, divide by number. Any number, okay. But mathematics says that no, you can't divide anything by 0. Then at runtime, you will get error. Compiler will successfully pass it because it is number, fine, passed. But during the runtime, mathematics says that this is cannot be possible. Then immediately you will get an error. These are called runtime errors. We call them as exceptions. So null is not at compile time. Null is always at runtime. So technically, you will get that null. So you can verify null type by using null keyword. You can verify null type by using null keyword. By using null keyword. So this is example for that actually. So here, then how do we correctly verify whether they cancelled or not? Here we are using a condition. If username is equal to null, then we will put a message document.write. So you cancelled. This message we have to write. If not, then it should display document.write and hello and whatever the username they entered. So username. So I told you another condition also. If they submitted blank, then how you'll verify? If they submitted blank, I can verify like this. Else if username is equal to empty. If username is empty, I can define document.write. So name cannot be empty. Like this we are defining. So when I run this now, you have 3 consequences to handle. I click on cancel, then it will return null, and we are handling null. You cancel. I click on OK. Now it is blank. We are handling that blank. Name cannot be empty. And I entered some name, then it will accept and display. So null is used to verify whether the value supplied or not at the runtime. And undefined is used to verify whether value supplied or not during the compile time. So this is technically how we can differentiate between null and undefined. This is example. So these are all under the concept of primitive types. So finally, the summary about primitive types. We have So summary about primitive types. Summary. So primitive types, we have number, we have string, we have boolean, we have null, and we have undefined. So number is numeric values. String is literals. Boolean is true false. Null is no value at compile time, and undefined is no, this is at runtime. At runtime and no value at compile time. That is the basic summary. These are all primitive data types of JavaScript. And in that, we learned how to handle the strings and work with them. We will put all this in examples, but for examples, you have to learn some more topics. This is not enough, sufficient. You need to learn some more things. So this is all primitive types. Next, non-primitive types. JavaScript, non-primitive types. Non-primitive types. JavaScript non-primitive types. Already I told you the limitations about primitive types. Non-primitive types actually, so they are mutable types. Mutable types means they can change the structure. They can change the structure according to state and situation. They can change the structure according to state and situation. There is no fixed range for value. Value range varies according to memory available. So they are stored in heap memory, not stack memory. Primitive types we discussed. That they are immutable types. They cannot change the structure. They have a fixed range for values. And but non-primitive types are different. These are, and JavaScript non-primitive types. Non-primitive types are JavaScript non-primitive types. We have array, we have object, and we have map. These three comes under the category of non-primitive types: arrays, objects, and maps. They don't have fixed structure, or they don't have fixed range. They will change, and they will change according to memory available. So as per the memory available, they will change. So that is the reason they can change their structure according to situation. Now, what are these types and how to handle these types? Let's see. First, we need to understand in the non-primitive types, very important, array type. In the non-primitive types, first we need to know about array type. What is an array type and how do we deal with the array types? Here, so many technical points are there because people who learned little bit programming here and there, they have some wrong ideas about array, which we need to make it clear now. So, because if you ask anybody, like, what is array? Meaning of array. What is the meaning of array? Concept actual. Meaning of array. Meaning of array, not use of array. Meaning of array. For example, see, meaning is, suppose here, I am writing here. Suppose say, I am using some words here. Form a queue and make a stack and form an array like this. These are the general words, all are English only. They are not related to any software technology. So they are general English. Even array is an English word, general word. For example, what is difference? Suppose here, I will give one simple example. Like, suppose here we have people are forming a queue. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose I said some John, some David, some Sam, something like this we have. Now what happens? They formed a queue. One behind another, they formed a queue. Now when they form a queue, how the counter will call the people in queue? So usually queue uses a mechanism called first in, first out. Queue uses a mechanism first in, first out. That means the first person comes and stands in the queue, we will call him first. That is the nature of queue. That is nature of queue. It works first in, first out, right? That's common everywhere. Now stack. Generally stack is, for example, you are opening files in a software, MS Word, or you are watching some websites on a browser. When you are watching websites on browser, you will see browser history. You will see browser history. In that browser history, last visited page will be first. The last page you visited will be at the top. That means stack using a mechanism called last in, first out. That means they will be in an order, sequence, but we will call the last one first, not first one first. That is queue. Now array, you form an array. Array means, suppose we have people standing in line. John, some David, some Sam, like this, these people. So for example, we are conducting interview and we given a timing for every person. That means David interview time is suppose 8 a.m. and John interview time is 9 a.m. And Sam interview time is 10 a.m. So, but so John came first and he's sitting in a seat first. After that, David, Sam, all these people came. They are sitting in line. They are sitting in sequential order. They are not scrambled. We are making them sit in sequential order. But usually we call David first. You may come by 7 o'clock also, we don't care. Why? Because your timing is not that. That means we will call randomly. We call randomly. So that means we will not call in the sequence that you are staying. We will call according to priorities that we given to you. This is called array. This is called array. This you will see very rarely. You might, because this is very common for people who are in NCC, like, right? If you are in NCC, you are making some drills and all. So they will say that form an array. Form an array means you stand in line, we will pick up randomly. That means we will pick up the people randomly. That means there is no order. There is no order. They will be in order, but we don't pick in order. We will pick anybody from anywhere. This mechanism is called as array. That is the meaning of array actually. That means what is difference between a queue and a stack and an array. Queue, we will not call, queue will not allow to access random. Stack will not allow to access random. Only array can allow access random. It can allow access random. That means you put in order, but we will access in random. That is the meaning of array. That means the meaning of array. First, before knowing the use of array, what is the meaning of array? Array means organizing in order and accessing in random order. Array means organizing in order and accessing in random order. That is the meaning of array first. Meaning of array. So stack means arrange, organize in order, organizing in order and accessing the last one first. That is stack. Queue means organizing in order and accessing the first one first. So this is LI, last in first out. This is first in first out. That is the mechanism actually. So what generally array means, it is also arranging in order and accessing in random order. Allowing access in random order. You can access in any order. It's not like you have to access the first, you have to access the second. There is no order. We can access in random order. That is the meaning of array. Now, once you know, okay, this is how array behaves. That is the meaning. Now, the question is, what is the purpose of array? What is the purpose of array? This is very important. Again, if you ask this question to any basic learner, then you will get an answer. Array is collection of similar type of values, same type of values. So that is general 100% answer from anybody who learned some languages. You learn C, you learn Java, you learn .NET, anywhere you learned about array, only one definition you know, that array is a collection of similar type of values, which we will prove wrong. You see now here, I am creating some values. It is an array. In that, one is number, another one is string, another one is boolean. These are not similar type of values. Document.write, I am printing those values. These are not same type values. And you run this and see the working fine. So if anybody says array is similar type of values, that is wrong. We proved wrong. We are proving them wrong here. So now we have an array and the 10A true are not same type of values. So forget about the definition as a professional programmer, right? So array is not similar type of value. That is not use of array. Then what is use of array? What is use of array? Then why your programming people teach you like that? Why your Java trainer will tell that array is similar type values, and he will prove that array is similar type values there. And .NET person will tell that array is similar type values. C person will tell that array is similar type, and they have to prove that. They will prove that. Then why I am saying that this is different type of values, right? We will see the answer now. How it is correct, we will see that. Actually, what is purpose of array? If anybody asked this question, you should know that. So array purpose, array is used in computer programming, to reduce overhead and complexity. This is the main definition. Arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead and complexity. This is the main concept actually. So what is overhead and what is complexity, I will tell you. We will see that. What is overhead, what is complexity. So the main purpose of array in computer programming is to reduce overhead and complexity. What is overhead? Let's see what is overhead. For example, to understand this concept, let me give you a clear concept. Earlier, so you might have used electronic devices. Earlier, electronic devices, they used to store data in magnetic tape. We have a magnetic tape. Data is stored in a magnetic tape. So I am talking about the situation before you have to listen to songs. You have Walkmans, tape recorders, right? Tape recorder cassettes. So VCR, right? Video cassettes, tape. You see a magnet tape will be there, right? So computers also started with magnet tapes only. They started with magnet tapes. So no problem. Magnet tapes, no problem. Why? Because in a magnet tape, what happens is the data is stored 01000100 like this. And generally in this magnet tape, what happens is we will have a head. We will have a head. This is some read-write head. This is read-write head. What this read-write head will do is, it will be here. Read-write head will be here. And tape will be rotating one direction. That means it will read in sequential order. There is no problem. I hope you know that if I want to listen to the previous song, I have to rewind and listen. I hope you have an experience. You know tape recorders, right? You born at that time? Tape recorder, VCRs, you know those, right? So, and you know that you have to rewind and watch. You have to rewind and play the previous one because it's order. Come back, or you have to rotate the tape. So that is very important to understand. Problem started when we started using disk, like floppy disk, like compact disk, hard disk. So now the problem started. Tape, up to tape, no problem. So that's fine. But problem started with magnet disk. Magnet disks are also magnet actually. One problem is because you don't know about it, means you have seen a CD, and you have seen a floppy, but very few people know how it rotates inside, how it works inside. Actually, I will show you the scenario here. So in a CD or floppy or hard disk, actually data is stored like this in tracks and sectors. In floppy, CD, hard disk, data is stored in like this tracks and sectors. Usually, we have divisions inside a CD, floppy, hard disk. We have divisions. Generally, we call these as tracks and sectors. Tracks and sectors. What people don't know is how data is stored in these tracks and sectors. Actually, in these tracks and sectors, data is stored in this way: A, after that B, after that C, and after that D. Like this, it will store. Then again, it will come like this: E, then F, then G, then H, like this. People think that so CD is rotating around, hard disks are rotating around, data is stored in a spiral way. No, that is gramophone. You know gramophone? Gramophone record, right? In gramophone, there will be a head. You put the head, it will rotate in a spiral way, come to the beginning and stop. Again, you want to listen, then again lift the head and put it where you want. Again, it will rotate. It's spiral. But CD, floppies, hard disks are not spiral. They store data in this way. I will show you that. For example, you see, you can see actually the hard disks. Suppose hard disk drive. So this is hard disk drive. This is the internal part of hard disk drive. Internal part of hard disk drive. Even in a CD also, it will be similar actually. CD also same. Only the point you may not know about that. Any offline, you have, anybody have a laptop with a CD tray? Anybody have? No. Don't worry, I will not destroy. Just to show you. Anybody have a laptop with a CD tray? CD tray? Why you are hiding then? Right. See, what is the point behind this is, I will show here in hard disk for online people. So here, see, generally, so we will on, yeah. Right. See, I will open this CD tray. This is the CD tray. What you need to notice here is this CD tray have a knob here. Now what we do is we put CD into the knob and CD will rotate around, right? It will rotate around. It's fine. Yeah, give it. Good, we have CD also. Right. So here we will keep this into this knob, right? We have to keep that into this knob, right? CD will rotate around, but what you don't observe, you don't know is this is laser light. And you see this laser light which writes into CD. This laser light will move like this, you see? It will move like this. It is moving in this way. That means the CD is rotating round and the laser light is moving like this. That means in this way. That means data is stored in this way, not in this way. Right? That is the functional of CD actually. Not only CD, hard disk also same. Hard disk also same. That means internally it works in that way. Internally it works in that way. Here in hard disk, I will show here. So see in the hard disk now, this is the hard disk diagram. And you can observe that, you see the CD rotates round. This disk rotates round. And this is the read write head we call read write arm. It is fixed and it moves in this way. That means it moves like a viper, left, right, left, right. That means data is not stored in a spiral way. Data is stored in this direction, inside hard disk, inside floppy, inside CD, everywhere. Now this is problem. If it is stored in a spiral way, no problem. So, but if it moves like this, then this is problem. This is very common, right? So technically, so what is the issue here? What problem you will face here? Problem is very simple actually. Now what happened is, now it left this E place empty. That means it is unable to store anything there. It stopped there. Because at a moment it is writing and stopped there. After that, what happened? Next time, some data is stored in other locations, like here some data is stored in these locations. Now what happens here is, when the arm, this is the arm actually, right? When this arm comes here to write, it will see that it is full. Then it will not continue. It will see here also full. Here it will see here also full. And it will see here it is there. Then it will write. After that, it will not come here because it is already full. So then it will go to the next. Now, due to this, what happens is, this place is left empty every time. That means you have space, but you cannot use. So this problem is called overhead. This problem is called overhead. That means you have space, but you cannot use it. So now you may be using Windows XP like versions and above, Windows 7, 8 and versions. People who are using Windows XP, Windows 98 earlier, in their computers, every few days they have to do one task called disk defragmentation. I hope you people heard about that. So that is there even today. We will have disk defragmentation. This is disk defragmentation. That means every few days we have to do defragmentation. When we do defragmentation, what will happen is, it will move all used sectors one side and unused sectors another side. Then again space will come. That means many people think that in your mobiles also, when memory is taken much, they will give an option called optimize. When you optimize, what happens? Many people think that it will compress. No, it will not compress. It will not compress. Then, because compressed files cannot work. So compressed video cannot be played. Compressed photo cannot be seen. You have to uncompress and see them. So compress is not the point actually. Then what happens when you say optimize? When you say optimize, it will move all used sectors one side, unused sectors another side. Again, space will come. Space will come. Optimizing is not compressing. So compression word is different. Optimizing is different. Optimizing is defragmenting. That means move all used sectors one side, unused sectors another side. Again, space will come. So that means overhead is a problem that comes with these disks. Now, to overcome this problem, in the early 1970s, in computer programming, so they introduced a concept called array. Array. It was not there before that. We don't have arrays earlier, right? Arrays existence came into computer programming. So because of disks, when we were using magnet tapes, no arrays in computer programming. We don't have arrays in computer programming. We don't have even proper loops also. Loop concepts came after these disks only. So later those are all programming concepts, very in depth, right? But important is, if anybody asks how you can overcome this problem, we can overcome this problem if my applications can write data in sequential order. If I can store data in sequential order, I can reduce this overhead. So what is the role of array? You know that now. So arrays will reduce overhead. How they will reduce overhead? By storing values in sequential order. Arrays will reduce overhead by storing values in sequential order. If values are stored in sequential order, then it will reduce the overhead. So arrays' main purpose is to reduce overhead. Not only reducing overhead, arrays will reduce complexity by storing multiple values under one name. This you will see later. It will reduce complexity by storing multiple values under name. That means to store 10 values, you don't need 10 names. Under one name, you can store all 10 values. That reduces complexity. But the main reason is not complexity. The main reason is to reduce overhead. Another important point is arrays can handle any type of value. Arrays can handle any type of value. But what problem is, technologies like C++, C, Java, .NET, these technologies have a problem in allocating different types of memory in order. They have problem in allocating different types of memory in order. JavaScript don't have. JavaScript is not strongly typed. Due to that, it doesn't have a problem in allocating different types of memory in order. Java have problem, .NET have problem, PHP has problem, or some other technologies are having problem. That's the reason they restricted array to store same type values. Because that is the problem with their technology. And that is what people learn as a definition in their technology. That means the correct definition is, you should say that in my Java, array stores same type. In my .NET, array stores same type. Don't say array stores same type, because several technologies will not store same type. Arrays will not store same type. So the technology is having a problem in storing same type, different type. They restricted for same type. That is their technology problem. They made it definition. Their technology problem, they made it as definition for array, which is wrong. That means you should not talk about array universally, like array is used for similar type of values. That is wrong definition. In every computer programming language, array is not similar type values. So only in few technologies, that is also because of their problem. Right? JavaScript don't have that issue. That is the reason JavaScript, Python, they don't have these issues. They can store values different. So technically, arrays can handle any type of value. Another point is, many people, when they talk about array, they say that array size cannot be changed dynamically. This is also a common sentence you will hear. In other technologies, Java, .NET and other technologies, you will hear that array size cannot be changed dynamically. That means in their technologies, array size cannot be changed dynamically, but array size can be changed dynamically. Array size can be changed dynamically. Which is not possible in other technologies because of their issues. Means not all technologies, some, because of their issues, because of their technology issues, they will not allow to change the size dynamically. But see here, suppose roughly see here, how to declare arrays and all we will see later. I'm using var values is equal to an array. So it is an array, its size is 2. And into the values I am storing 10. Into the values I am storing 20. Into the values I am storing 30. Into the values I am storing 40. So many values I am storing, but the size of array I defined as 2. But I am storing 5 values into it. So I am writing this document.write. I am printing the values. The size is set to 2 and you are storing some 5 values. Other technologies will object. Java says out of range index. .NET says out of range index. C++ says out of range index. But JavaScript says it's okay. That means your definitions about array keep with you for your technology only. Don't give them as universal definition for array, right? So because universally array have different behavior in different technologies. So array size can be changed dynamically. Array can be handling various types of values. That is not purpose of array then. If anybody says the purpose of array is to store similar type value, all technologies don't do. If anybody says arrays are used for not changing the size dynamically, some technologies can change, then that is not right definition about array. Then what is the main purpose of array? The main purpose of array is only one, that is reducing overhead. The main purpose of array in any computer technology is to reduce overhead. So arrays can be defined for reducing overhead and for reducing complexity. So JavaScript array can do all this. So the note is few technologies cannot allocate various types of memory in sequential order. Various types of memory in sequential order. Hence, they restrict array to same type of values. And size cannot be changed dynamically. The languages like C, C++, Java, .NET languages, all these have the problem. So it is related to only few technologies, not every technology. So, but across all technologies, purpose of array is same. Across all technologies, purpose of array is to reduce overhead and to reduce the complexity. That is the purpose of array, why you need array in computer programming. So this existence of array came because of these disks, compact disk, hard disks and CDs. Due to that this came. Okay, now we understood what is the meaning of array and what is the purpose of array. Now the key point here is how to configure array. Configure array. How do we configure array? So to configure array, 2 points are there. To configure array, number 1, so declaring array. And number 2, initialization of memory for array. These two are important. Declaring array, initialization of memory for array is important. Declaring array is Simple. Declaring array is same like variable. That means declaring array is same like variable. Declaring array is same like variable. That means what we do, var some array name. That's it. This is declaring. Already we learned what is meant by declaring. So that means we say var some products. So this is declaring. Var categories. This is declaring array. But array declaration is not enough. After declaring array, we have to initialize memory. If memory is not initialized, array cannot be used. That means array declaration is not enough. Every array needs initialization of memory. So that means initialization of memory. Every array declaration needs initialization of memory. Initialization of memory can be done in two ways. We have two ways of initializing memory. How we can initialize memory? How we can initialize the memory? Memory can be initialized in this way. You know what is meant by initializing? Initializing means at the time of declaring. At the time of declaring, in variable I told you three things: declaring, assigning, initializing. So initialization of memory is important. So how you initialize memory? Var array name is equal to, so this square brace, or var array name is equal to this array name. Initializing of memory for array is mandatory, and you have to define in this way, initializing the memory. So that means var products is equal to array, or var categories is equal to new array, like this. What is difference? I will tell you between that square brace and array constructor. We will learn. So initializing of memory is important for array. Initializing memory is important for array. So without initializing memory, you can't store value into array. We cannot store value into array without initializing the memory. So what we need to do here is see. For example, I will show you the point here. Initializing memory. So here you defined some var products. Okay, this is declaring. And into products 0, I stored some TV. So into products of 1, we stored some mobile. Later I will tell you what is that 0, 1. Don't worry, just concentrate on this point, right? Document dot write, I am printing products. Okay, and you see that I am trying to print the products. Now you will see there is a problem, and problem is nothing but in the console you will see the problem. So it says that cannot set into 0. It says that, so where is this 0? There is no memory. So there is no memory allocated for this. For variables, memory is allocated. But for array, you have to initialize memory. That means you have to put here equal to square brace. Now it will work fine. So, or you have to define, so new array. So this will work fine. Initialization of memory is required for array. Otherwise it cannot work. Initialization of memory is required. There is another technique. What is difference? I will tell you between these two. but initializing is required like this. Another point is, so note is you can also assign memory for array. Instead of initializing, you can assign memory for array. Without initializing, without assigning memory for array, you cannot use array. So it cannot handle. Initializing is mandatory, or at least you need to define assigning memory to array. How to assign memory? How to assign memory? Currently it is not working, right? Currently it is not working. How to assign memory? Assignment means you know products of array, square brace. What is this? This is assigning memory. It's working fine. It is not initializing memory. You know the meaning of initialization. This is not initializing. Na? This is not initializing. This is assigning. We have to initialize memory, or we have to assign memory. Assign memory. Without initializing, without assigning memory, it cannot work. Right? That means you can define in this way now. So where, so products and products is equal to square brace, or where categories and categories is equal to new array. That's how we can assign. You have to initialize memory, or you have to assign memory to array. Initializing and assigning memory for array. So now if anybody asks, like, so the question is like, what is difference between array meta character? This is called meta character. Array meta character is this square brace meta character, and array constructor. This is called array constructor. The difference is actually array constructor can define size for array. However, size can be changed dynamically. However, array size can be changed dynamically. Array constructor can define size for array, but it's not permanent. Already I showed you array size can be changed. Then you may ask, like, then why we need it? To restrict array. That means, of course, they can change the size, but what we will do, by reading the size, we can limit it. That means we have to write a logic that if size of array is more than 2, then don't allow to store anything. We have to manually write that. But for that, we need to know the size, how much is given for it. So for that, now we need to know how do we store values into array, and how do we read the values from the array. That we'll see tomorrow, right, in the next session. This topic is very important. Don't JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React, Vue, anywhere. You have to work with data, and data is array. So data is array. If you are not all the array manipulations and interactions, right? That we will see in the next session. Tomorrow we will continue with that. Okay.
Right.